Jeff got the juice, keep the show on fire. Josh brings the news straight from the source with no desire. The judge, our wise advisor, keeps us in line. Fresh from the comic shop, showcase your design. Ask Joe the comic book ninja for insights to explore. The popcorn gets to know you from straight to the core. I guess I'll have to think, cause we make some freaks. So much more to discover, this show's a hit. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. So let's start.
Back at it, Joe! Unofficially summer. How you feeling? How you feeling?
Feeling good. We had some great weather here in the Philadelphia area today. Got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff coming up. And most importantly, I spent some time doing some personal collection stuff this weekend.
You see stuff. You never have time for you.
Now,
you made time for you?
I did. Yeah, I took some time yesterday to rebag some parts of my Golden Age collection in taking it from regular bags and boards to beautiful Mylar with clear backing boards so we can see the front and the back of the book. It was all pre-code horror stuff that I rebagged, and I am I'm loving it.
You feel fulfilled is probably how you feel, and I'm so happy you got that time in for you. You do have a little bit of a sunblock on your nose right there. You should have gotten that off from being outside bagging and boarding. But very exciting show today. Hey, you interrupted me. Very exciting show today. By the way, what up, guys? Got to get the daily Go Birds in. So go Birds!
Go Birds. And guess what? Neighborhood Merc let me know that he's going to be at Heroes Con. So I'll be there with Popa Chili Town and Brixco Comics. So
that's going to be fun. I don't think you're going to be hosting that weekend then. If you're probably going to be flying back.
No, our flight is Sunday morning, so I should be good.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to con Friday and Saturday. I think our flight is 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. on Sunday, so we're good.
Okay, I'm very happy to hear that. We got to get into this because we have a great show today. We have an alumni with us, an alumni guest. That's right, Lunch Money Comics, a.k.a. Mike, a.k.a. the number one masshole we know. Is that a fact? I'm not sure. So we have to get
at least top 3, yeah.
He's top 3 for sure. No doubt about that. Just insufferable. Yeah, Luke, let's have some fun. Why not? Because anything can happen on a comic book canon. Before we get to our guest, well is what I want to say too. Because, it is the featured episode issue. Joe, you want to care to take a guess at 226? Episode 226, featured episode issue 226. What are we recognizing as 226? Tell me.
All right, 226.
I'm out. I just want the audience to know Joe got this last week, and
I did get it last week.
This one's going to be more difficult.
This one's more difficult. It's a Marvel title, though, right?
No.
Ooh, okay, that helps. So it's DC.
Yes.
Okay. Is it Superman 226?
Absolutely not. It is Batman 226. Look at how cool this cover is, Joe. Come on.
This cover is awesome, but we really should have saved next week for the Batman book.
Because we have a segment replacing this. That's something we have to talk about on our big June meeting, Canon June meeting with the board, as well as all involved in the canon. But I love this cover right here, so that's why I picked it. In this Silver Bronze Age tale, Batman faces a mysterious criminal known only as the Swami, a cunning master of disguise who confounds authorities with an elaborate series of crimes. As the clues stack up, Batman uses both intellect and deduction, not gadgets, to close in on the truth. The issue is pure detective story that highlights Batman's sharp mind and more than brute force. You got iconic writer Denny O'Neil, Irv Novick on the art, and inker Dick Giordano. So we went with that. If anybody has a problem with that, let us know in the chat. Also, like and subscribe if you have not done so already.
If you don't like it and you want to put it in the chat and voice your opinion, direct all of the blame towards Jeff because he's the one that sets that segment up. I do want to say that speaking of Denny O'Neil, I might have a Denny O'Neil related fresh from the comic shop get today. So stick around until the end of the show. because we'll be showing those off.
I love that tease right there. That is fantastic. But speaking of teases, let's just get into it right now. I mean, look at this right here. That was so cute, Joe. Our guest tonight is no stranger to the canon or to the comic book treasure hunting. He's a certified alum, a con floor bloodhound, and the kind of guy who finds grails in the places most of us even wouldn't stop for gas. You know him from YouTube as Lunch Money Comics, where he's out there digging through long boxes at flea markets, yard sales, and forgotten convention corners across New England, building a killer collection without breaking the bank. He's back. He's bold. And yes, he's still a Boston sports fan, but we'll let that slide for now, maybe. Give it up for the return of our guy, Mike, a.k.a. Lunch Money Comics. How are you, Mike? Oh, my gosh. In full Boston gear. Did you do that for us?
I did do it just for you. Yeah. All the Boston teams are terrible right now, so it's only all for you.
I'm a little nauseous. Joe, how do you feel?
Sick to my stomach. I just ate some salmon and peas, and I might projectile vomit them at my camera.
I'd rather have salmon and peas over a Philly cheesesteak any day.
Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah. I've done this before, guys. Here we go.
Them are fighting words.
Yeah,
here's
the deal, too. It's like you know that he has his confidence about him because he doesn't have to go through the interview. But Joe, he can still get kicked off, right?
Booted. Absolutely.
Right there. I mean, that easy right there. That early in the show, it could be a record. So we'll leave it at that. But we have to bring him in because he did sign a contract, or he made us sign the contract. Therefore, we have to keep him on for an 48 minutes and 37 seconds, I believe, is what the contract stated. So we'll try to keep you involved in the show for at least that long.
My lawyers are timing you right off to the side here. So
just try to behave yourself, please.
You know me.
Okay. Now here's the deal. Last time I saw you in person was the first time we met in person, which was so weird for me because I was about to leave the King Khan show. And this is how dedicated Mike is. He said he was on the fence the night before King Khan, which is where what is that town called?
Islin, New Jersey.
And it's quite a ways away. How far away is it, Mike?
Well, when there's no traffic, when you leave as early as I did, it's about 3 hours.
So 3 hours. So at 4:30, you tell me the story. Yeah, I woke up at 4:30 in the morning. You're like, F it. I'm just going to head down there right now. So that's the type of collector Mike is. On a whim. Boom. He's wherever he needs to be.
Yeah. Actually, I couldn't sleep, so I can't say I got up at 4:30. I was having trouble sleeping, just laying there going, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go. The way down was great. Lovely drive way down. Way back, not so much.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
The George W. Bridge as much as you possibly can. Doesn't matter. You're going to hit the traffic. So
terrible. Anyways, I just wanted to tell that story. Joe, do you have anything nice to say about Mike before we get the show started?
I have absolutely nothing to say nice about Mike, but I will say some things about Mike. No, just kidding. Mike's always been great. We met probably 2 years ago at this point, maybe a little bit longer at a 3 Men in a Basement comic book crawl. And we had talked a little bit online. I think you had even been on this channel first. I don't remember exactly, but what order?
I saw you first. I think I met you first, and then that we worked this out. But yeah, we saw each other a few weeks ago.
Yep. Bunch of shows up here in the Northeast, and I was once again up in Connecticut for a 3 Men in a Basement event, and
the it's a great one tomorrow. And you are in it, Joe. You have a little speaking role. Definitely make a cameo
appearance on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's great for you guys or whoever's posting. 3 Men in the Basement posting that. Yeah. That's Joe is from the #1 YouTube channel of all time, the live show of all time, so it can only boost that video's performance. Okay, speaking of performance, we got a guy that performs each and every week. He brings in this je ne sais quoi. Is that what the French is that how they describe him, Joe?
Yeah, I never took French, but
and he, we know him as the Adam Schefter of the canon. You know him as
just delivers the news and rumors.
Joshua.
Oui.
welcome. You guys, you obviously took French. Am I right?
Ooh la.
Uh-huh. All right, it's getting a little out of hand at this point.
Now.
We need you to, as a former coach in New England once said, just do your job. So you do have a job to do. It's to deliver the news and rumors to our audience, 11 million watching right now, that tune in specifically for you at times. And you have said that this is a gigantic news week. Now, with that said, this may be a weird situation for you, Mike, but you are a guest co-host of the show. You can chime in however you want.
Cool.
Just know you have no control of when you're kicked off or not. And you obviously
Understood.
can't kick anybody else off. So,
Because I get kicked off all the time, and
I mean, it's as easy as that. When he gets kicked off, there's no warning. Sometimes he just becomes in.
And sometimes Jeff gets kicked off too. And then sometimes I kick off our guest and I take over the entire show. And that's just how it goes. But you know what? I'm no good by myself. Let's be real. We need Jeff. He does a lot of things. Josh,
That was well done, by the way. That was
music,
very
and
well done.
of course, we need our guest here. But we're gonna switch these two. There we go.
And now you screwed up the whole format for your
I
little
did
show.
screw up the whole format. There we go. Thank you, Jeff, for being the man
Racist.
behind the buttons.
Disaster right here. All right. Oh yeah. By the way, pardon. Nobody notified me of a pardon. Well done. My lady's laughing. By the way. Oh, I think I hear her watching on her phone. Yep, absolutely. Upstairs. All right, we're going to get into it right now. This is surprising news right here. We're starting off with some surprising news, Josh. So tell us what it is.
it's actually not, and we'll get into it in a minute. Marvel Studios will not have a Hall H panel at San Diego Comic-Con this year, and I'm telling you that because simply they don't have nothing to show up. Fantastic Four will be coming out in July. In June, we have Ironheart. And then at the end of the year, Wonder Man will be coming out, I believe, in December. And then, honestly, the next film that might be coming out will be Spider-Man in July of next year, along with Doomsday. And it's sad because last San Diego Comic-Con, I said before that, hey, Robert Downey Jr. is going to play as Doom. They announced it. I made headlines as one of the biggest.
I don't remember it going that way. I remember Joe and I actually digging that little piece of news up and you running with it. But Joe, real quick, confirm?
Confirmed, yes.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So anyway, whatever these two guys want to say. But yeah, it's kind of sad. I'm not surprised by it, but just don't expect any big news. Also, probably don't expect anything from DC as well.
Are you serious? What if that's terrible? Mike, what are your thoughts on this, please?
Well, the first one, yeah, evidently Marvel's slate for 26 is basically fallen off. So the end of this year is going to be a fire sale for all the TV shows that they made years ago that they weren't really sure if they were going to produce them. They just push them all out, get them out there, good or bad. And then, the production stuff, push everything in Marvel to the end of 26. I don't hate it. One thing that's been proven that saturation of this type of media gets a little stale for people. So it gives them something to wait for. I don't mind it that much. DC, that would be stunning to me, Josh, if that was true. Right out on the heels of Superman, they got to have some announcements or some follow-up to that.
So is that a confirmation, Josh, that
they're going to have they will have a small panel specifically talking about Peacemaker season 2, but other than that, don't expect anything else. Why? I don't know. They could show off something from Supergirl. They could make casting announcements for future movies or something. So we'll see unless it changes in the next month and a half. I'll get you guys updated, but as far as I know, it's only going to be a Peacemaker season 2 little panel, and that's it.
Going on what you said, Mike, this is a moment for DC with the release of Superman. There's a lot riding on Superman, and for them not to also take this opportunity of not having Marvel in All H, this is a big missed opportunity. If they do not present anything other than Peacemaker, it makes absolutely no sense. Show some Supergirl footage, or talk about Clayface, whatever. This is a really missed opportunity. Joseph, your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think one thing we need to note is that I don't believe Marvel has done a Hall H every year. It's usually every couple of years, and they just did one, a massive one last year.
That's not true.
Are you sure?
Yes, there was a string where it was every year.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it's just I'm thinking of like the major announcements, and this doesn't mean that there's not going to be announcements. This just means they don't have an announcement that's worthy of a Hall H, which is fine.
Again, and maybe it goes to what you're saying, Mike, with the oversaturation of this type of content. For me personally, I feel like I can't get enough. It's hard for me to keep up these days as well, but that could be a reason why. So I don't know. it does feel like, again, going the DC way, huge missed opportunity.
Yeah, as far as DC goes, I mean, I'm more surprised about that, but maybe they're doing it elsewhere. They might be doing it outside of San Diego Comic-Con. There might be reasons for that.
That's happening, right?
Well, D23, but that's not gonna be DC stuff.
No, I know that. I'm just saying in terms of Marvel. But anyways, Luke, we agree with you. We do need some DC for sure. All right, everybody, like and subscribe if you have not done so already. I mean, like, come on, we are the #1 live show of all time ever on YouTube. So don't even give us that. 18 million watching right now, Joe. Joshua, what do we have next?
Yeah, so this kind of makes me sad because I love video games. I have my Xbox, I still play, and EA just canceled the Black Panther game that was in production. It was gonna be a semi-open world Black Panther game. You're gonna play as different Black Panthers throughout. They canceled that. However, they do have a agreement with Marvel, and they have 3 other games that are still in production. Earlier next year, a Captain America and Black Panther game from World War II will be coming out, where you play as Captain America and Black Panther's great-grandfather. And as you see on the screen here, there is an Iron Man video game also in development, and there's another game that hasn't been announced yet. We'll have to see if that ends up happening. EA, across the board, has canceled a lot of games on their side of things too, and laying off developers. So this kind of hits. Also, just how we recently had the Wonder Woman game that was announced almost 6 years ago, and they, WB put over $195 million into making the game, and they finally canceled it because they couldn't get it right, and they decided to cut their losses. So it's been a bad year for video game fans on the comic side, and hopefully we get some good stuff out. I heard potentially that also Wolverine that is coming from PlayStation as well. A lot of stuff got leaked. Potentially that may end up getting canceled as well, since everything's out there about the game, and they really, can't surprise anybody with it now. So we'll see what happens.
$190 million sounds outrageous to put into a game that will never come out.
Yeah.
Granted, WB has done that before with some of their films. Mike, your thoughts? I'm not sure if you're a big gamer or not, but let us know what you think.
I am, yeah. I was just playing Elden Ring a little while ago. Still loving that game. Yeah, so these superhero games, I tend to find disappointing. I love playing them because I love feeling like you're the character.
Yeah.
The Wolverine game, I did see the trailer, and I'm probably going to have to play that. So I don't know if it's going to be suitable for my kids. It looks like it's more of an adult one. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that one. I'll play it.
Joshua.
I'm
sorry, Joseph.
I already talked about this, so.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Wow. Anyway, yeah, so I'm not a video gamer, so this really doesn't affect me in any way, but I do think the video games are a great way to get people, just like the Saturday morning cartoon versions of superheroes and stuff like that. It is a great way to get people, especially younger people, into the hobby. So for that reason, yeah, especially with a character that's as super popular as Black Panther has been in the last number of years, I think that this is a loss. Like Josh said, though, there is still a Black Panther. Jeff, I did not tell you could come back.
You're not the boss of me.
Fine. With a character like this, there is still a game coming out that involves the Black Panther, but it seems like it's kind of more of a team up, Black Panther and Captain America. So that should be interesting. As far as the other games, Iron Man's a great one because it's another character that has immense popularity due to the MCU.
Real quick, with DC though, the video games specifically were supposed to relate, or they're supposed to tie into the films as well. TV shows, cartoons, films, and
no, that's DC, Jeff.
That's what I'm saying.
We're talking about Marvel.
That. So it's going back. It's a callback. $190 million flushed down the toilet by DC is what I'm trying to say. Guys, we are not getting along tonight, and I do not like it one bit.
I'm gonna say the Wonder Woman game.
You know what it is? It's the negative energy from Boston.
That's what it is.
The Wonder Woman game was announced 6 years ago, way before James Gunn came on board. The thought is that he wanted them to tie it into, the whatever story they're trying to come up for her, and it didn't work out, and they put too much money into the project already. So,
okay,
yeah.
Well, we're gonna move on to the next news story, but I feel terrible for not doing this because the guy is taking time to spend, he's spending time with us. That's Mike, aka Lunch Money Comics. And I forgot to say, link is down below. If you're not following Lunch Money, that's a big mistake because you may learn a thing or two. Whether it be what do you got up there? Beans or something like that? Is that what it is? It's like baked beans are like synonymous with Boston.
Beer, baked beans, throwing teas in the water. Yeah, that's what we're good for.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, cheesesteaks and Philly, but go ahead. But anyways, seriously, you may learn a thing or two about baked beans, the Boston Tea Party, or actually comics is definitely your forte. As you can see that wall back there. So please follow Mike, aka Lunch Money Comics, because he's taking the time to spend with us. And he actually has a massive following as well. Not nearly as close as us, right? Right, Joe?
Not even close, but
not even close. But so help him out a little bit. All right, moving on. What do we have next, Joshua?
Yeah, so earlier in the year. You ready for me to go?
Oh, wait, no. Actually, you just brought that up, Joe, didn't you? I just saw it.
Oh, I did. I
want to bring it up as well, just so I could feel it feels good.
Super Bowl 52.
52. Nick Foles. Philly. Joshua, what?
So earlier in the year, we finally got announced that DC and Marvel are going to be doing some crossovers this year. The first time in over 25 years, I believe. And the first crossover will be Deadpool will be meeting Batman. Wade Wilson will be hired for a job in Gotham City that puts him in the crosshairs of the world's greatest detective. And honestly, man, I don't know. I just don't feel all excited about this. Even though I'm a Batman guy, I just kind of feel like it's going to be what every crossover happens. Deadpool is going to probably be hired to take out the Joker. Batman's going to show up and try to stop him. And then, one of Deadpool's henchmen is going to show up and try to take out Batman. And so there's two other crossovers that we're going to be getting this year. We'll see if those are any good hits. But as far as I'm concerned, I mean, it's okay, but I don't know. I was maybe expecting a little bit more.
Mike, your thoughts on this?
I couldn't care less. I don't like Deadpool. I find him to be boring, and I'm a big Marvel fan. I would read it for Batman over Deadpool. That being said, I think it'll do well. I do. Yeah. I mean, they're two incredibly popular characters, so I think it'll do okay. I'm going to probably pass on that one myself.
Well, doing well is great for the comic industry, and I think this is going to give the comic industry a boost in general. But I align with you. I don't. It doesn't intrigue me one bit, Joseph. I'd have to say the same about you, but I don't want to assume it makes an ass out of you and me.
Yeah, this isn't something that really interests me too much, but at the same time, I think it's really cool if you really think about these characters, like as they truly are. They're foils of each other, very opposite. We have Batman, who has no superpowers, Deadpool, who is practically unkillable in all facets of the word. You have Batman, who is this like stoic, serious, often very, very calm person, except for when he explodes. Whereas Deadpool is the merc with the mouth. He's this loud mouth jokester. Completely opposite personalities. Obviously, one's Marvel, one's DC, so on and so forth. Batman never uses guns, has a hard rule about not killing. Deadpool, one of the most violent characters in all of comics. So this is a little cool, dichotomy that they have going on here. I definitely think it could be awesome. Again, probably not something I'm going to read just because crossovers feel gimmicky to me. But if someone likes both of these characters a lot, I could see them getting really into it.
I want to see what their plan is too past this. That was a big announcement that they had, and all we got was there's going to be a crossover. And the next little piece of news is Batman and Deadpool, not a cohesive kind of overarching thing where they could have teased. So it's just weird to me. I don't know. It's like low hanging fruit in terms of the characters. And again, hopefully I can read it on the digital, the DC Unlimited or Marvel Unlimited. I have both of those, so hopefully I could read those. By the way, Caleb is confirming he is wearing a thong this evening. Good for him. Naomi is actually kind of egging him on. And Naomi has an amazing pick of the week this week, so please stay tuned for that. I can't wait to show that one off. All right, we're going to move on to the next piece of news. Joshua, what do we have?
Yeah, so we got a new look at Galactus and the Silver Surfer and Fantastic Four. And man, I love this. I hope this becomes like an actual poster for the film. And speaking of Fantastic Four, a test screening just happened a few days ago. And I can officially confirm that there is a full plot week out there, also with end credit scenes. So mute me right now because I'm going to tell you at the very end. Jeff, you were supposed to mute me. I was going to say he was going to show up, but
I
never
don't have
mind.
my hand on. There's no dump button here. It's not radio.
Okay, my bad. Anyway, so let's just rewind like 30 seconds ago.
What do you guys want to talk about with this? He's already going off the rails here.
Yeah, I mean, this looks awesome. We already know this character's coming. It really doesn't add anything to that, but it's definitely a cool shot. You know, I don't know about the whole putting this thing in the news thing, Josh. I think we need to talk to him about the importance of these news stories.
Here's the deal.
Whoa. Jeff wanted to put it in the news story, my friend. It was
Here's the deal. Like, you and I are way too busy as co-executive, as co-CEOs of the Canon. You and I are way too busy to actually have to monitor you trust he does his job. What does Bill Belichick say, Mike?
Next man up. He says a lot of things.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
There's that one too.
And he dates women that are 35 years younger than him.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about. Do your job, Josh. Let's bring him back. I'm excited. I'm super psyched for this. Josh basically knows the whole film because he's all in tune with all of the spoilers. I cannot wait for this movie. Was it the 25th, July 25th? July is going to be insane. Absolutely insane. I want to try and see it the first night. Alicia may not let me because she'll want to join me, even though she may not have much context behind. I'm trying to catch everybody up on all of the Marvel films. There's no way in hell we're going to get there by the 25th of July. Anyways, Mike,
from the test screenings, though, I heard Galactus is one of the best parts of the film. Right. And I think he's going to do us justice, obviously, from, the original Fantastic Four film as a cloud.
I mean,
I would hope
anything's
the bar was low.
Yeah, exactly. Mike, your thoughts? Are you psyched for Fantastic?
Oh, yeah, I'm psyched. And like I said, again, without getting, I don't know any of the spoilers, but the screener said, it's a pretty good movie. There was some, criticisms, but everybody said universally, Galactus is terrifying, and it's very Lovecraftian horror, which is if you're getting that sort of a praise, for it, then I mean, you're doing Galactus right. So I'm pretty excited for just Galactus. I don't care what the rest of the movie. Give me a good Galactus, I'll be happy probably. So,
and we already have some good looks of Galactus too. So it's pretty spot on to the comics. Very excited. Joseph.
I already talked about this. It's I'm psyched for this movie, but this poster, it's just.
So there we go.
There we go.
Joe has left the building. Joshua, moving on. What do we got next?
Yeah, so this is great because we're rounding out the cast for Vision Quest, and I've heard nothing but fantastic things about Vision Quest. And Tina Miller has officially been cast as Joe Casa, if I pronounce her name right, in Vision Quest. And she is actually a love interest of Ultron in the comics. And I've actually also heard that we might be getting an actual actress for Friday showing up. The original Butler who played as Jarvis in Endgame, as well as the Captain Carter show, will be showing up supposedly in physical form. And a few other surprises I won't announce, but it sounds like Vision Quest is really amping up to be something special and amazing. So we'll have to see how that how that show pans out.
Michael.
Yeah, I mean, this is, again, not a show that's necessarily on my radar. I know they've been working on it for years and years. I'll be excited to see it because, Paul Bettany is a proven commodity. I think he does a great Vision. And for those of you that haven't seen this actress, I've seen her in a couple things. She is fantastic. So I have no doubt in my mind that she's going to kill that role. So, yeah, no, that's actually probably the one show I'm really excited for. So I'll watch it no matter what. I'm not picky.
Yeah, she's I've talked many times here about Mike Flanagan, the horror writer, and she's in, I think, at least two of his shows. She's in Haunting of Bly Manor and Fall of the House of Usher. She might even be in another one. I'm not remembering, but definitely in those two as, a major character, and she is phenomenal. So
Amazing.
yeah, definitely looking forward to this.
It's rare when we have a problem with Marvel's casting. It happens, but it's very rare. So I'm excited for this as well. I like the character a lot. I remember Jocasta from like the 80s and Avengers and stuff like that, reading that as a kid. So I'm super psyched for this casting. Again, it's one of those shows you forget is in pre-production at this point. But it's coming down the pipelines. It's like one of those things where I think like 8 months down the road, we're gonna have a trailer for this, and so obviously, I think, Josh, it comes out next year. Is that correct?
Yeah, they just started filming. Not even probably about a month ago. So yeah,
we may get
it's definitely going to be out next
the end of the year. Like that's exciting. So I'm very excited for this, and I obviously love John Byrne. The White Vision. Super psyched for that. So good things happening all around right there. All right, moving on.
Yeah. So I got some good other casting news. Laura Linney has reportedly been casted in Lanterns, and no indication on who she will be playing. But I'm thinking, since we have an older Hal Jordan, I'm kind of wondering if she's going to be his love interest, Carol Ferris. We'll have to see if that happens. She's a great actor and actress, and I'm excited. And it sounds like Lanterns, man, they keep adding great people to the cast, supporting cast, and I'm hearing nothing but great things about the show as well. And apparently it's a really great script, and I really think DC, we're gonna finally get some really great content from them over the next couple years, and let's have to see what happens with this show.
So Mike, we know you're more of a Marvel guy. Obviously you do appreciate your DC. Your overall thoughts on Lanterns, as well as the cast, because again, Laura Linney is another great pickup for them.
Yeah, I mean, the whole cast is crazy. And I've got of all the DC characters, like Green Lantern, Hal Jordan is one of my favorites. So I'm absolutely psyched for any of this stuff. And yeah, the whole cast, phenomenal. Yeah, all around. So that's why I'm not surprised they have Laura Linney. I could see her as Star Sapphire. I could see her in that role, older, seasoned, veteran. My only concern is, who are they going to have as the Green Lanterns moving forward? I mean, you're going to keep bringing these guys around for a long time. I think you need some young blood in there at some point. So I'll be interested to see how they utilize them. But yeah, I'm watching the heck out of that show. Can't wait.
Joseph.
Yeah, Laura Linney's great. I mean, Ozark. Can't really beat that performance. Again, as I often say, I'm not as much of a DC guy. Not super familiar with Green Lantern other than the major characters and stuff like that. But whatever role she's in, I'm sure she'll do great.
I gotta say, obviously, DC or Green Lantern is my favorite DC character. The casting again continues to just prove that they're bringing in solid people for this. What you were saying, Mike, in terms of how they're going to keep this going forward, they got Jon Stewart, and I guess the premise is going to be Hal Jordan is going to be taking him under his wing. I don't know, but they say True Detective in Space. How amazing does that sound? Granted, we are going to have Guy Gardner, aka Nathan Fillion, as well. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with the Green Lanterns. There's a whole bunch that they can do. Are they going to keep Hal around because he is in his, in close late 50s probably? Which
Kyle
is
Chandler, right? How old is Kyle Chandler? He's one of those guys that always looks young, though. I feel like.
So maybe he can play it into his 70s. Hopefully,
there you go. Maybe
what we want. So we'll see. But I believe in Gunn. I know we haven't seen much other than the Suicide Squad, but with Superman coming out and high praise, I really want this freaking series to kick ass. I absolutely want that to happen. So
yeah, and I think a Jon Stewart centered, if that's the way they're going, is absolutely the way to go. That's
because then you can get like Kilowog and all the other, eccentric characters from the Corps. So we'll see. We shall see. Joshua, moving on.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on to some rumors.
We don't have a Josh delivers the rumors. It's just
Josh delivers the rumors.
That's terrible.
I did my best.
Okay, cool.
We just lost 5 million. We just lost 5 million
viewers.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on.
So Mark Ruffalo will reportedly be responding his role as Bruce Banner in a substantial role in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And I am hearing that not only will he be in there for the long run, I'm hearing it potentially will either be a mentorship role, kind of like what Tony was to Peter, or it could be the flip side where we might actually get just like how Cap versus Red Hawk, we might end up getting a Spider-Man versus a villain Hawk. We'll have to see what happens.
Okay.
Well, we'll see what happens if things. Maybe the Hawk might start out good and gets manipulated into going crazy. I don't know. Again, this is just a rumor. We'll have to see if it pans out, but we should know soon. And I heard that as of tonight, a offer was put out to the lead villain, female, and lead actor villain for Spider-Man. So we might have that casting pretty soon on our hands. We'll have to see.
Ooh.
Interesting, Michael.
Yeah, I've been kind of following, this movie, what's going on. This one's all over the place, right? Sometimes it's a street level movie, like Marvel wants to do. Other times, Sony wants a big multiverse. And depending on the week, you guys are seeing like different villains have been queued up. Seems like a Sinister Six, minor villains. All of a sudden, it's a space thing. It's a multiverse. Nicole Kidman's in talks, and now they're saying Mark Ruffalo's coming back. Could be a mentor like Benedict Cumberbatch, or we had Tony Stark, or Nick Fury. It seems like every movie that he does, he's got a mentor. Or he could just be big old mean Hulk, which would be pretty awesome. So this movie's all over the place. I don't think anyone really knows where it's going right now, and I don't know if I'm excited about that or not. I'm excited for Spider-Man, period, but who knows what the heck this thing's going to be at this point.
Yeah, Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed Mark Ruffalo as Hulk, but I haven't enjoyed him as much as time has gone on, and it's become this only Professor Hulk where we're not getting this this savage brute Hulk that we all want crashing through walls and stuff like that. So maybe he kind of goes more like that, and Spider-Man has to stop him. There's plenty of Hulk crossover. The issue you have up on the screen, Amazing Spider-Man, I think it's right before Gwen Stacy's death, so it's 119 and 120 from the Bronze Age. Really great 2-issue Hulk crossover where Hulk and Spider-Man go head to head against each other. That would be cooler to me than glasses wearing Professor Hulk, telling Peter oh, well, you got to become a hero again, something like that.
I agree. And Mike, to what you were saying, this is the exact same thought I had. Why does he need all these mentors, right? At this point, I guess he's going to be in his college years at this point. He should be figuring stuff out on his own. Nobody knows who he is. So it's a brand new day, a fresh start is what they can do. Having the Hulk there, other than which, Josh, I love what you said about this, maybe being some sort of an antagonist or some sort of piece of the film that he has to stop a raging Hulk. That would be cool to see. That would be very cool.
He kind of has to be, right? Because he doesn't know no one knows who Peter Parker is the way
nobody does
right?
at this point.
One thing I'll add, though, the way they changed the movies, though, messes things up. Originally, this Spider-Man movie is supposed to drop between the two Avengers movies.
Right.
Because they booted it. Now it happens before. I wonder if they're doing a slight pivot so that it makes sense story-wise. I wouldn't put it out.
Well,
they started shooting. There's no way they started. They don't have the villains. This is supposed to come out a year from now. That's pushing it.
I was just thinking too. I mean, technically, Peter is supposed to be entering college, and we know he's not going to IMT like his girlfriend and everything, and his best friend. So what if he's going to a college, and what if he ends up meeting Professor Hulk at the college, and then they end up becoming like what him and Kurt Connors, who becomes a lizard, have that kind of relationship, and then towards the end, like I said, somebody makes Hulk goes villain, and we'll see.
I mean,
I don't know. Let's just move on because we're dragging on this too much. Nobody cares much for Spider-Man anyway. He's a
get out of here. Honestly, we can't kick you off because we want to end the news soon. So let's go.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on to another rumor, which I'm excited for, man. I hope this happens, and if it does, I'm gonna tell you I was right again. Bryan Cranston is rumored to be playing Charles Xavier in the next X-Men film, in the MCU going forward.
I'm out, Joe. Why? I think I know why you're shaking your head. Why?
I'm shaking my head. This is such a silly rumor, and I know I've been wrong before, and Robert Downey Jr. and stuff.
I'm sorry. Say that again. What breaking news? Joe was wrong before. Oh, okay.
Of course, I've been wrong, but this one just seems like they picked a bald guy, and they're like, "Yeah, bald guy, that works. Yeah, let's pick him."
It's honestly too good to be true. Like, he would be amazing. But I also heard, do you guys see the rumor of Daniel Day-Lewis might come out of retirement and play Magneto? 0% chance.
I came up with that.
Never.
What is it?
I agree. There's a 0% chance.
Anyways, Josh, please continue.
On to the next news story.
No, just if they, I thought. we
Oh, I'm
cut
just
you
gonna
off
say,
completely.
I think this is great casting.
I will
I think
admit
it
that
should
was
happen.
rude of us to cut you off. That should not have happened. But go ahead.
I think this should happen. Just to spite Joe. I want this to happen.
I don't want it to happen either. I don't think he's the right actor for Xavier because he's a great actor, a phenomenal actor. Breaking Bad is a masterclass in terms of character development and the actor just taking that on and running with it. I don't want him as Xavier. I don't know. There's just something. He's too heavy for the character, if that makes sense. Not like physically, but like in terms of what he brings to the screen, which is a completely different vibe and type of what Xavier is. So me personally,
he's too good for Xavier is basically what you're saying. Which Xavier doesn't have enough depth for him, right? I think what you're saying, and I think I agree with you.
yeah, like that's a yes. That's the best way to put it right there. I just don't. I don't want it. Is what it comes down to. So I think it's 3-1, Josh. So you're wrong.
Hey, I was right about Robert Downey Jr., so we shall see.
Well, but it's opinions we're talking here, so that's not a right or wrong thing. So, wow, this is really getting ugly, Joe. I don't know what we're gonna have to do. Do you have HR on the line?
This might be the end of the canon.
It's disgusting. Anyways, moving on, John. This is Mike's fault again. It's the whole Boston Mass whole thing. Jesus Christ, this never happens. Go ahead, Joshua.
So earlier in the year, what am I thinking of here? Ryan Reynolds announced that he was writing a Deadpool team-up movie, supposedly, and it looks like he might actually be writing an X-Force movie, a real X-Force, and Josh Brolin's Cable, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and potentially Storm might be part of the X-Force. So we'll have to see if this ends up becoming true or not. Honestly, I'm up for it. I want Josh Brolin back as Cable. I thought he did great. Obviously, Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I mean, hey, look, him and Deadpool and Wolverine, the movie was fantastic. I thought, loved it. Would love to see those two back together. And why not add in some Storm? And I just want to say that, I think Naomi is wrong. And I think maybe people are sick of seeing her picks of the week.
Can I get a timeout? Like, he's attacking people's opinions by telling them they're wrong.
You're wrong.
So does this make Caleb is right?
Yes, this needs to happen.
Okay. Mike, are you right or wrong on this discussion?
First of all, I love Storm's like one of my favorite characters. She shouldn't be on the team. I don't know what's happened to Zazie Beetz as Domino. Wouldn't we bring her back?
Great.
Like,
yeah.
I
love
feel like
her.
that's a better fit. I love Josh Brolin. I don't think he's a very convincing Cable. I wish he was bigger. He's not that big of a guy. But yeah, hey, I'll watch it. It's an X-Force movie, right? Come on. Again, not the biggest Deadpool fan, but yeah, it'll entertain me for 90 minutes.
Joseph, you got a reaction here.
Why the fuck are we talking about an X-Force movie when we haven't even had an X-Men movie yet?
Are you passionate about that?
Yeah. I don't. This is so dumb. Like, why is this a thing? Sure, Deadpool can continue. He can pop up here and there. He can do whatever he wants. But like, why is there going to be an X-Force movie potentially before or right after an X-Men movie that we haven't gotten yet? Like, we don't even have the X-Men like officially in the MCU.
I think the answer is Disney loves money is the real answer. Practically, you're right. They shouldn't do it, but they're gonna because they made so much money last year.
Yeah, it's a proven commodity, obviously, and that says a lot. That weighs a lot on what they're gonna do next. Joe, you actually framed that really well. Like, there's not even an X-Men movie. Why are we talking X-Force?
Right.
I liked Josh Brolin as Cable. I thought that was a lot of fun, and I would like to see something like this. Storm, I agree, does not fit into the team, but I'm interested in it. Again, it's got to fit. It's got to feel like it fits with this whole thing. The way they did Deadpool Wolverine was awesome, right? Granted, it's not technically in the six or the MCU. Is that correct, Joshua?
Potentially correct.
Oh, here we go. Anyways, but I definitely want to see something like this happen. I want to see more. I do like Deadpool. I love.
But even if it happens, it's not going to happen to almost 2030 because they're still filming up. They got to if before anything
They can
happens.
get this done 2028, no doubt.
Secret Wars needs to come out and hit, and that's 2028 or 2027. Yeah, 2027.
27.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well,
we'll see. We'll see what happens after that. I think anything's going to be on the playing field. We'll have to see. But
great. I'm
and
glad
again,
you
this
haven't
is
accused
just
anybody
this
of their
is
opinions
just
being wrong.
just a rumor. Doesn't mean it's going to actually happen. You know, we'll see what happens.
He's walking it back, everybody. Moving on. What do we have for the last rumor here?
Yeah, so we're going to go to some DC news. James Gunn has confirmed that he is writing in an unannounced project at DC right now, currently. Some folks feel like it might be Superman 2. However, there's gaining some traction that he is writing World's Finals. He is going to, and at the end of Superman, supposedly he announced that there's going to be a very big cameo. I'm thinking, hey, what better place to tease potentially Batman or even Bruce Wayne?
That'd be dope.
We'll have to see what happens. I gotta say, I think James Gunn's known for assembly films, which means teaming up characters, and we know that in Superman, we got some characters coming in. I think he would be the perfect writer, and if he wants to direct it, do it too for World's Finest. I mean, we've never gotten an official Batman Superman film together. It's either Batman versus Superman or we got the animated style. But if we get a live action where these two, start out maybe on edges with each other, and then they come together in the middle, and then at the end, I think James Gunn would be the perfect writer and director for that film. So we'll have to see. But I think there's no doubt too that more than likely we probably will end up getting a team up film of these two, along with probably Justice League eventually if DC pans out over the next 10 years. So I'm hoping this happens though, and it comes true.
I'm real confused because Batman versus Superman is exactly how you describe that without the mark.
You know what? Maybe true, but at least like. Never mind. I'm losing my point. I was gonna say we probably wouldn't have Martha.
Wrap this up on a nice bow here. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want this? Honestly, I mean, if they're not fighting against each other and they reinvent that whole awful movie, yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty cool to see Batman doing the detective work, Superman being, doing the fighting. I think it'd be a great thing. And there's been a lot of Batman movies, if you guys have noticed. So I think it's actually a pretty good way to introduce Batman into the DCU in a little bit different way instead of having a standalone. Yeah, I think it'd be great. And it's James Gunn, so I would watch the heck out of this. I'm excited for this. Yeah, I hope it's true.
Joseph.
Well, here's one thing. Just because something is titled World's Finest doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be these two. That is something that we should definitely note because they've tricked us with these things in the past. Ask Dan De La Torre about Defenders.
He's still not over that.
Yeah, it's kind of the most obvious one. Well, Civil War. I mean, Civil War is different characters being pitted against each other than in the comics. And there's apparently a Brave and the Bold project that's going to be what is it, Red Hood and Nightwing or something like that. Brave and the Bold did feature like many characters, whereas World's Finest was just Batman and Superman, but could be anyone. Could be Supergirl and Batgirl because they had a World's Finest run too.
Well, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be sure. But I would love, I'll be honest, like if they have kept this a secret for this Superman film at the end credit scene and all of a sudden, boom, Bruce Wayne walks in, that's the casting announcement. That would be amazing, and I would be super psyched if it was the two of them. So I'm all on board with this as well. I think James Gunn is so phenomenal in what he does, how he threads all of these loose ends together into one cohesive unit as a film. And I'm very, very excited to see Superman, and hopefully we get something like that about this bombshell cameo is what you were talking about. Joshua.
Yeah, so as we know right now, CCXP, which is
breaking news.
Well, hold on. Let's hear this out. So CCXP is currently happening right now. They just did a 15-minute Peacemaker panel there. However, I'm looking at it right now. I got some live updates, and in about an hour from now, or a half hour, there will be another panel. And there is a picture that somebody posted right before they were supposed to take the phones away that says a storm of spoilers and a pause is coming. So later tonight, I may have some more breaking news for you folks. So
We got to get a
keep
breaking
watching the
news
channel.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens tonight, and hopefully we get something good.
Hell yeah, we're all about that. Joshua, well done. Monitoring your contacts right there. As always, you will be back later tonight, and we can't wait.
And you know what my mom...
Just delivers the news and rumors.
I think he was saying something about his mother.
Something
like that. I'm so sorry. It's,
It might have been something about your mom, Jeff.
Fighting words. All right.
How dare you?
Moving on. That was an amazing segment. But before we get to the next segment, which we're going to, he said my motto. He's in a private chat here. I don't know what that means. But we're going to say hello to some people here. While we do this, everybody get into the chat. Your Ask Joe and Jeff and Mike questions for sure. We're live on the TikToks, just streaming me. That's how I like it right now. Get your questions in right now. We will get to that in a hot second. But Derek Neiman is in the house. Naomi has an amazing new comic book day segment y'all need to stick around for, which will be coming up soon. Dr. Guion in the house. He will be making an appearance at Terrific Con. Caleb Leland, hello. Immortal Scruffy with some news. This is not really that much of a spoiler. I think a lot of people know that by now. Spud Comics in the house. Who else do we have? We have, wow, we have a lot of people talking here. Hold on. Luke Harding's in the house. Hello, Luke. Growing up, that's got to be the coolest name of any kid ever. The neighborhood Merc in the house. Dan De La Torre, the judge, will be back in this house, as you all know. Who else? We have wonderful people. All you wonderful people. Kate Comics in the house. Kaboom Comics is here. We got lots of fun people. We love you all. Guyana Brightlight, love of my life. Alicia in the house. Nukes Comics is here. I think that covers everything. Everybody, huh? Sure does. All right, moving on, everybody. Mike, you are our guest co-host. You're technically part of the show. You haven't had to run through your interview process. You've already done that. You have a choice here. We have two segments we're going to roll tonight. One of them is a Did You Know? And it's about the Comics Code Authority. And we have our regular correspondent, as well as part of the show, Naomi Comics. Would you rather see the new comic book day pick of the week or Did You Know on the Comics Code Authority?
Wow, that's tough. I have a video coming out in a few weeks about the Comics Code, but I think I'm going to start with Naomi because you piqued my
interest. Look at that shameless self-promotion here.
You did. That was pathetic. Only, honestly,
I got many more.
On our bandwidth.
It wasn't shameless. Tons of shame.
All right, at least he admits that. All right, everybody, get in your questions. Ask Joe and Mike. Right now, get your questions in and enjoy this. This is an amazing pick of the week.
Hey, it's Naomi. How's it hanging? Nice of you to drop in. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's get to what everyone's favorite part of the show, shall we? Oh, hey. Do you guys mind meeting me up there? Hey, normies. Glad you could swing on up here. I bet it's really bugging you. I won't say it yet. I'll give you a hint. Marvel is dropping an ultimate about... You're right. Spider-Man with Miles Morales. Oh, that's right. The mask. On June 4th, universes collide on 6160, something I hope you're excited for. I know I am. Miles' sister, Billy. Do you guys want to see something cool? Watch this. Yeah, I'm still trying to break them in, but it's awesome. Miles and Peter team up to save the Ultimate Universe with help from Black Panther, Magic, Hulk, and Iron Lad, just to name a few. You know it's going to be killer. Me personally, I think Spot needs to watch his ass. Because there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 Spideys to look out for. Well, that's my pick for next week's comic. If you pull it, let us know if you really enjoyed it. But if you didn't, then you're wrong. It's been a real pleasure with you webheads. Until next week, I'm Naomi, and my Spidey senses. Is that Joe, Jeff, and Josh? 1 second. Yep, that's way too close to the school, fellas. Yay me! Bye!
I was not way too close to the school. I know what the what is it? What is it that's against us?
Proximity that you're.
Yeah, I know where I need to stand, and that was not me. You, on the other hand, you ran to get that kid's ball, and elbowing him in the face was not appropriate at all. But I laughed so hard when you did that. Kid got a bloody nose. It was absolutely amazing.
If he didn't want to be elbowed in the face, he shouldn't have put his face into my elbow.
That's a good point. By the way, Ultimate Universe Incursion or Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, great pick, Naomi. I cannot wait to see what her pick is next week. Also, Naomi will be making appearances here on the show live. She is a permanent member of the Canon. I hate to do this, Mike, but I got to give you props for one of the best sports logos of all time, the Hartford Whalers.
I felt a little bad. You made me feel a little bad about it, and I got to represent the whale.
Goodness, man. That is, I got stories about that. My buddy's dad was the GM when I was in college, and we would go skating around on that ice. So it was a lot of fun. Anyways, very dope. All right, moving on. As we said, we were going to have some Ask Joe, Jeff, and Mike, but I don't see any here. Nobody wants to watch this thing we call
Ask Joe, Ask Joe, Ask Joe, Joe, Ask Joe.
All right, we got one in just in time as I was about to cancel it. Could always count on Scruffy and Nukes, by the way. Ask Joe, Jeff, and Mike, what is your top 5 X-Men? I know what number 1 is for Joe. I'm not going to, But let's go with Mike first. Top 5 all-time X-Men.
Well, yeah, I'm a huge X-Men fan. Nightcrawler, number one character of all time. Yeah.
Wait, did we know this? Joe, did we know this?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are related. Okay.
Yeah, I think it surprised people. I don't think Wolverine makes their top 5. We're gonna go with Nightcrawler. We're gonna go with Storm second, definitely. Probably Cyclops third. He moves around a little bit. Gambit's probably 4th. Man, that 5th spot. I want to pick a sleeper. Havoc.
Ooh,
Havoc's a good call. That's good.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, Joseph.
Me next? Okay. Nightcrawler, number 1. Number 2 would be see, this is where it gets hard. Like, it's an easy number 1. In no order. Let's do in no order for the rest. So we got Nightcrawler in no order for the rest. Let's go Havoc. Havoc is another one of mine. Kitty Pryde.
Oh yeah.
Kitty Pryde's got to be on there for me. I've got 2 more. Man. This is tough.
Because they're ensemble. They're better when they're an ensemble. That's the thing with the X-Men. It's hard to pick them out.
Yeah,
That's why I like Wolverine. I like
I definitely have a soft spot for Jubilee, and it's because of the X-Men 97 show and all that stuff. So we'll go Jubilee. We got one more spot. It's hard not to throw Wolverine in there. I'm just gonna throw Wolverine in there. Wolverine was one of my favorites too as a kid. I grew up. I was him for Halloween at least twice.
I would love to see young Joe as Wolverine. I tried to make my brother a Wolverine costume with the wire, the hangers. I was like 12, right? And I was like, oh, you could totally be Wolverine. And I started cutting those out, and my mom was like, hell no, he's not putting that on his hands.
Right.
Anyway, so he would have poked his eye out. For me, Colossus, Bishop. This is in no order. I can't do top 5s or anything like that. Yeah. But Colossus, Bishop, Wolverine. I got to go Cable. I had it in my head. I can't remember it. And then my last one, my 5th one is I got to go. I'm going to go Beast.
Beast is a good one.
Yeah,
Even though he's a major character that's been around since issue 1, still very underrated.
For sure. All right, great question there, and I'm glad we do have a question from Nukes. Always asking the good questions. We'll get to that in a second. The Neighborhood Merc. Which hero versus villain combo would you like to see in the Marvel DC crossover? Mike.
Wow. So you're picking like one hero versus a villain of the other publisher?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a tough
That's
one.
not a quick answer. I got to think
No,
about
it's
that one.
not.
I mean, I
Just
could pick
like-
two out of
I
my
find it
hat,
hard
but
too. Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to kick myself later if I didn't think it through. We should all take a beat and think about that one. That's hard.
Yeah, this is a really interesting one. I've got a great one though.
Go ahead.
I would love to see Daredevil go up against the Riddler.
Ooh, that's a very good one. I like that. That's a good combination.
Matt has that. He has that kind of detective-y kind of vibe to him. You know, not up to the level where Batman is, but you know, just a really intelligent, logical guy, given that, you know, his profession and things like that. And that would help him against the Riddler.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that one too.
I'm gonna, Mike, unless you have it, like this. I was going big, and I still don't have the other half. I wanted to have, like, I just thought the Beyonder versus who's in that category in DC.
Like the anti-monitor or something like that. I mean, I don't even know what you.
Yeah, yeah. So I was going a little too big, but then Joe said the Riddler and Daredevil. That's a great combination. So I really don't know. I like what Bill Kelly here said. Hobgoblin / the Joker. That's an interesting, like, face-off or even a pairing. That's
an interesting one. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that. This is fun, actually. Everybody else is jumping in. Punisher versus Deathstroke would be dope. That would be amazing. Dr. Guion coming in with a hot one right there. I'm having trouble. Like, this is really difficult. And having dead air time is not. So maybe this should come back to this.
I'm thinking like a street level. I'm thinking like, you know, Bullseye versus Green Arrow or something, right? I'm trying to think of guys like similar we've never seen. But I'm sure there's some crazy ones. Like you put Brainiac against any of the heavy hitters and like smart people in Marvel, like Reed Richards versus Brainiac.
Oh, Brainiac, Reed Richards is not. I like that too. Shit,
that's a damn good question. Honestly, this is a whole video you got here. Dang.
Well done there.
What about Doom versus Lex Luthor?
There you go. Easy.
It's a pretty good one.
That would be.
I feel like Doom would crush him though. I don't know.
All right, we're gonna move on because wow, that's a tough one. Josh, our very own Josh's Comics, ask y'all if you were a part in the DC Marvel crossover, what characters would you pick for 3 different teams? This is kind of the same thing. You guys want to move on?
Yeah, fuck Josh.
Sassy mouth over there. Ask Joe and crew, what one thing, this is a great question, especially for the two of you guys. What one thing from Comic-Cons would you improve either from the vendor or the attendee perspective? That's a great question because you guys go to a lot.
Yeah.
I would go back to making them more comic book oriented. You know, there's some shows like, you know, the 3 Men in the Basement swap that me and Mike were at, and King Khan, and you know, those are very, very, they're almost entirely comic books. There might be some people with some other things, but they are, you know, by and large 90% plus comic books. A lot of the bigger ones, you know, Terrificon is a great example of one that still has a lot of comics available. Same with Baltimore Comic-Con. But it's certainly not close to 90% at those. Right. You know, there's a lot of other stuff. You know, I go to Comic-Cons for comics. We can call them other type of cons, but like when they like New York Comic-Con, it's not really a Comic-Con. It's a pop culture con. And you know, that's one thing I would definitely there be more actual comic books there. That would tickle my fancy.
That's fair. Mike.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an order of magnitude thing, right? Like I prefer the smaller shows that tend to be all filler, all kill or no filler, as we say. But the bigger shows, the biggest complaint I have is the lines. Actually, was on a thing for Heroes Con preview a few nights ago, and that was something that came up. Like when you go to the bigger shows, you have people in line to see some of their favorite creators. People have books to sign, and sometimes people have a long box or two of stuff they want to sign. And you know, a lot of times, you know, are you putting that on the artist to actually step aside and be like, okay, I'll do them later, or I'll do a little at a time, or is that on the con? You know, to manage it. And I have seen cases where they have a authenticator there, you know, someone's there to witness it and they have a stack of books. The person getting them signed is not even there. They just paid someone to stand in line. When you're there, you know, for one day and you want to meet your favorite person and you're behind someone signing 100 books, it is morale crushing. I feel like they need to do a better job limiting what people can have signed. If it's not the artist that's doing it, it needs to be the con needs to step in and manage those lines a little better.
That's great. That's a great call out because it makes a horrible experience for a lot of people.
Yep.
And the people who are benefiting from it aren't even the true fans anyway.
They're for money. Yeah, they're making money.
It's garbage. It is absolute garbage. But I mean, for me, I don't like going to like San Diego Comic-Con, but like Terrificon was fun. I could deal with a little bit less people.
Yeah.
Is that possible? No, it's definitely not possible. We're going to move on to Derek Neiman. And I'm going to use the emphasis in here with all caps. So listen to this read. Ask Jeff and Joe and Mike and Josh, if Bryan Cranston isn't Xavier, then which MCU character should he be?
Why didn't you yell MCU? It's also capitalized.
Because that's I don't have an answer for it.
Okay, so if Bryan Cranston isn't Charles Xavier, what other MCU character could he be?
All right, so I'm gonna do this. If he's not gonna be Xavier,
you better not take mine.
Fuck Marvel. I'm going to DC. I'm
Okay.
gonna cast him as Jim Gordon.
Time out. I just want to note that we
Potty mouth on him.
we have used our 3 F-bombs. This show we cannot have any more. That is regulated by YouTube.gov.
My lawyer said you're breach of contract with me. So
yeah.
That's it.
Oh yeah, he did have the F-bombs in there. So please don't walk off the set, please. I have a good one that I hope nobody takes. So I'm gonna allow you guys.
So the first character that came to mind for me, just because think like later seasons of Breaking Bad, where he's like very savage and
you're gonna take it. You're gonna take it.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
You're gonna take
There's
mine.
no way. You're thinking of Stick from Daredevil.
No,
That's who I'm thinking of.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You're a liar. You're a damn liar.
No, I'm dead serious.
Big Dan is in the former canon. He's in the TikToks. Should be in the YouTubes. Big Dan. Go ahead. Sorry. So you're serious? You're taking Stick?
Yeah, he would be awesome as Stick.
I agree. I just thought you were going to take mine.
Okay, well I didn't. So go do it.
All right, Mike. What do you got?
I mean, Doom seems obvious, right? When I think of him, but if we're saying he's already casted as that, and we're saying he's off limits, right? Someone's already in actually Stick's already in the MCU technically if they've retconned the old stuff.
He's dead. Yeah.
I don't know. Pass to Jeff. I'll just say Doom and come back to it.
I thought this is low hanging fruit, but Mr. Sinister, he'd be amazing as Mr. Sinister. Both of you guys, I thought this was a surefire thing. Everybody be totally on board.
His teeth aren't sharp enough.
Come on.
I need a British guy for Sinister, right? You know what I mean? I can do an accent, but
God, you guys make me angry. All right.
That would work.
Good question, though. Moving on. Ask the gang about Terrificon. Are there vintage toys there? By the way, Dr. Yan has been asking this for weeks. I need to know how many bags I'm taking.
There were a few vendors last time, not many. I had a buddy who got a couple of Scareglows, He-Man figures, but there's not that much, right, Joe?
Yeah, it's most of the vendors are going to be either art vendors or comic book vendors. There definitely are other things. You'll find Funko Pops, you'll find vintage toys, you'll find some Legos, like things like that. But yeah, don't think that it's going to be like a major focus.
You'll find something there, I'm sure. But knowing you, Dr. Guillaume, you should probably bring at least 3 suitcases, full suitcases. So, okay. Well, right there, everybody. That was a quick one. Usually this goes longer.
Ask Joe. Ask Joe. Ask Joe. Ask Joe. Whoa! And Jeff.
And also Mike. All right, that was a fun one, though. That was definitely a fun one. And this is fun, too, as well. This Did You Know? People love the Did You Knows. And we've talked about this, so you probably do know. But in case you don't, did you know this?
Did you know Stan Lee took on comic book censorship? In 1971, Stan Lee got a surprising request from the U.S. government. They wanted Marvel to publish a story warning readers about the dangers of drug abuse. Stan agreed and put the message into Amazing Spider-Man 96, 97, and 98. In the story, Harry Osborn becomes addicted to pills. But there's no supervillain or cosmic threat here. It's just a deeply human problem. But in real life, someone did have a problem. The Comics Code Authority. The CCA banned any reference to drugs, no matter the context. Even though Stan's story was clearly anti-drug, they refused to approve it. Stan Lee published it anyway. The 3-issue story arc hit shelves without the Comics Code seal, the first Marvel Comics to do so since the seal was introduced. And guess what? It was a hit. The sky didn't fall, and within months, the Comics Code was forced to change its outdated rules. Stan didn't just tell a good story, he helped change the system. What risks can creators take these days to go against the norms? Let us know in the comments. And if you didn't know, now you do.
Yeah, I think you all pretty much knew that, but it is such a classic kind of standing up to something so stupid at that point. And kudos to Stan Lee for yet another thing he's done and an iconic string of things he did for the comic book industry. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that Stan Lee was the guy that had to do it. You know what I mean? Another creator would have gotten in trouble, fired, legal action upon him. You know, it wouldn't have taken off. But the fact that Stan Lee, who was the face of comic books and still is, and probably honestly always will be, him doing it made it work. He used his platform for good a lot of the time, which is very important when you do have that kind of power.
For sure. Mike.
Yeah, agreed. I don't see like Infantino doing it from DC or anything like that. It was Stan Lee had the clout to do it, and it made sense in Marvel Comics, and he was willing to take that risk. And had to be him. Only guy that probably could have pulled it off before the 70s change in the Bronze Age.
Yeah, and it put a dent into the Comics Code Authority's kind of grasp on the industry, and we're all better for it, to be honest with you. So imagine, like married people sleeping in 2 separate beds, or drug stories not being like real life stories not being anywhere close to what real life is.
Could you imagine real life problems? It's obvious.
It's crazy. And Big Dan with the more you know. That's the NBC. Well done, Big Dan, with the emojis right there. Putting those together perfectly. By the way, he is an alumnus as well. He passed with flying colors his interview.
Best performance ever.
It's not. It really is the best. I mean, him and Jackie. It's not because they're Eagles fans. We're not saying that at all. Not at all. We showed them no preferential treatment, but they passed with flying colors. Kelly Green, of course. All right. Here we are, everybody. The final segment of the evening. Thank you so much for hanging with us this long. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. I mean, 15 million people watching right now can't be wrong. And Naomi, come on. At least Naomi said yuck to the Dallas Cowboys. Am I right? Go Birds!
Woo!
You're so sick of this. This is the final segment of the evening where, Mike, you have a huge responsibility. You will be choosing who will be moving on to the semifinals. It is fresh from the comic shop. And if you don't know, this is what it's all about.
Fresh from the comic shop. Your collection's treasures ready to pop. It's time to share, don't let it flop. Fresh from the comic shop. Take a shot, make it bright, give it style and flair. Show a book that's unique, something rare out there. Tell us why it matters, what's the story behind. Pull at our heartstrings and you'll surely shine.
Sponsored by Crafty Comics, where collections flex their style. Museum quality slabs and displays with 99% UV protection. Because your fresh gets deserved the spotlight.
Indeed, fresh from the comic shop. Guys, I have a disclaimer here. I am really, this is me being serious now. I've had lifing lately, and I really haven't gotten around to, this is my fault, to the semifinals and finals for the month of May, and I truly apologize for those semifinalists and the finalists. So it's kind of, it's not fair to the people that submit who are in hold because they have to wait to see what their last month is, the results are. So I truly apologize. I've had some shit going on, and I'm not asking for pity. I'm just giving an excuse, which I don't like doing, but I have to. So we will get those votes tallied up for you this week. And I'm not sure, Joe. I don't know what's fair if we don't pick one this week. Like if we don't pick it now, and then we ask Mike to maybe pick it when we know the results, we'll hit him up. We'll follow up with you, Mike.
Yeah.
I think that's
let's see what happens.
okay. That's fair. Okay. We'll see what happens.
The excitement of the show.
I feel terrible because it's since we've had the 2024 book of the year, I've been behind on putting up the votes and stuff like that. And I truly apologize for that. So just want to say it's my fault. It's nobody else's fault. And, I take that responsibility seriously because you all take the time. You don't want me being sentimental, do you? You hate me sentimental.
No, you're fine. I think might be someone else's fault.
Oh, you want to blame Josh? We can shit rolls downhill or something. Isn't that how it goes?
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason we added.
He's full of excuses. That guy sucks. We need to fire him. All right, moving on. Moving on. All right, so we're going to get into Fresh from the Comic Shop, everybody. As you know, you send us a fresh get on the Instagrams, hashtag FFTCS, even though hashtags are bogus. Make sure to tag Comic Book Canon in the picture, not the description. If it's not in the picture, we will not see it. In the picture, tag us there. 3 things that we look at, the criteria. Pay attention, Mike. It is a well-composed shot, something that's artistic that relates to the picture. That's 1. 2, something unique. Doesn't need to be, Joe.
$30,000.
But it could be something you've never seen before or none of us have either. And 3, pull at our heartstrings. My voice just cracked because sometimes I get emotional, right? I get emotional. So it's pull at our heartstrings. Tell us what this book means to you. That goes a long way. Just as a reminder here, we have our January winner, Mons Comics with the Predator. We got Dr. Plagueis with the Green Lantern. Our March winner is Super Crispy with the Comic-Con 40 book right there. And then Nori Jordan with The Boys. So none of those people are eligible. Only Nori Jordan has put in for this week. But we're going to get right into it with Nuke's Comics. As Nuke says, fresh from the comic shop, Amazing Spider-Man 173. The Molten Man threatens the life of Liz Allen, Harry Osborn's girlfriend. Can Spidey and his bum arm save her, or will Multi take them all with him? Fantastic cover by Romina and dynamic interiors by Adris. I picked this up at DBS in my quest to complete my ASM Volume 1 run. I hope my fellow Cannoneers have a safe Memorial Day weekend. Salute to all those who make the ultimate sacrifice. Good stuff indeed. Well done on saying that as well. You got this in late last week, but it still counts for this week. And we did give props to our servicemen and women and their families. Michael, your first fresh get of the week. What do you got?
Am I showing something here?
Of course. And you're okay with me calling you Michael.
Either one. I don't care. My first one, I'll work my way up.
Can I do Mikey?
Knows what I'm going to show at the end.
Can I do Mikey?
No.
Mike?
No.
All right, let's move on.
So I curated this collection very carefully, what I selected today, by looking down and grabbing what I saw. So I apologize. I didn't think about the first 2, but these are topical because we talked about them earlier. That's why I grabbed them. The first one.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right? So we have Superman 680. This is all about crypto, and this is an Alex Ross cover. Everyone knows crypto might just steal the show in this summer's movie. I saw this at a comic shop in my hometown of Danvers, Massachusetts. Couldn't live without it. And that was my first pickup. So pretty happy to pick this up while visiting my folks.
That's a great cover, no doubt. But Josh seems to think that he'll be able to put his future kids through college with that cover. So he is all about that as well. Josh, you have any comments on that one?
I found mine.
Something happened with the connection there, Joe. Have we figured IT never returns my call?
I'll just say what Josh was going to say. He got his for $10 in one of my claim sales because I didn't bump the price up when crypto got announced, and it went up to being like a $40-$50.
No, I found it at your dollar bin sale.
Oh yeah, even worse.
He
kicked me off. I
didn't mean to force on that wound,
he said, "Kick me."
Kick me off.
At this point, he's like, I need to leave. All right, moving on. We got Mark Leneker. I love this one right here, by the way. We're finishing up our Italian comic book tour with L'Uomo Ragno 273 and 274, or 1 and 2, July from 1999. These have Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2, number 1, Peter Parker Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man Chapter 1. Notable for the embossed gold cover to 273, exclusive to Italy, and issue 274 using the limited Dynamic Forces cover that was for issue 1 of Peter Parker in the U.S. Cardstock, too. Oh, wow. Also of note, they started legacy numbering with these issues years before Marvel started in the States. That is very cool right there. I would have to say unique as well. Hold up. What is this?
Same cover. This is actually a hard cover. I think I actually showed this off on the show one time. This is called the Romita Legacy. It's a Romita art book. And it's actually signed by both Romitas on the interior. I showed this off one point, but yeah, uses the same cover, which was a John Romita Jr. Dynamic Forces variant cover.
That's very cool. And that counts as your fresh get, doesn't it?
No, I've got great ones.
What's your
over
first
here.
fresh get of the week?
All right, so first fresh get of the week, another Spider-Man book. This book I've come across a weird number of times in the last couple of years. I think this is the fourth one that I've had that I found in a collection, and it's not a very common book because it's a 1 in 100 variant, and it was from 2011, which is kind of before variants really took off. But this is Ultimate Spider-Man 160, The Death of Peter Parker, and this is the 1 in 100 Joe Quesada variant, which features this like eerie image of Peter and his Uncle Ben walking away, kind of in the afterlife. And Ben says, "You did good, kid." And it's a tearjerker of a cover. Joe Quesada, awesome artwork, all white cover. Definitely a tough book to get in high grade because of that. And yeah, I found 3. Well, technically I found 4 in 3 different collections because one collection had 2 copies of it, a graded one and a raw one. But yeah, it's a tough book to find.
That is a fantastic cover for sure.
I've never seen that before. That's awesome.
Either have I. I've never seen that one. But does Uncle Ben have a ponytail?
He does have a ponytail in that. Yes,
he's a big dude too. Like that was
he's huge. Anyways, all right,
Yeah.
not accurate, but still definitely one that yeah, we can all relate to. Moving on, we got Nori Jordan, who is not eligible at all, but we love him. Well, I'm back to my predictable ways. By the way, Mike, I'm not sure if you know anything about Nori Jordan. He's a masshole as well. And he is the biggest Thunderbolts fan of all time.
He is?
He is. Oh, I forgot to tell you that, Joe. He is. And with that said, you're going to kind of get a small glimpse as to why in this right here. Nori Jordan, well, I'm back to my predictable ways. This week's submission was fun because I got to share the buying experience with a friend. My favorite book to find is a Thunderbolts #1 CGC 9.8. Currently, pay attention, everybody. Currently, there are only 19 on the census, and I own 5 of them. He owns over 20% of them. I saw a copy listed on eBay and naturally was excited. As the auction was getting near its end, I messaged Justin, a.k.a. Raising Elm, to tell him about this opportunity. I was amazed that he already knew about this auction, and he even put in a bid in an attempt to win the book for me. There were more bids on this book than I expected, but I sat back with a beer in hand thinking, these poor people do not realize who they're dealing with. I placed a bid with 3 seconds left and won the book. Within seconds, Justin messaged me to make sure I won the auction. It is nice to know he looks out for me and even participates in my Thunderbolts collection. Take care, everyone. I love that right there. That first of all, that shows a few things. How crazy Nori Jordan is. He owns 6 of the 19 now, I would say. This is the 6th one. Again, over 20%. 25%, right, Joe? Over 25. Joe's good with numbers.
Yeah.
And I love the community that's being built around that. The strength of the community here, everybody helping out for each other, knowing what their passions are, and just loving each other. It's just very, very cool. So well done right there. Josh gave us a little bit of breaking news. New Peacemaker panel starts right now. That was at 9:24. So 2 minutes ago is when he sent that message. I'm going to go real quick with my fresh gets. You guys know how I do. I was digging through long boxes today. It is so hard with my stepdaughter just hounding me. When are we going to go? When are we going to go? When are we going to go? Yes, I'm blaming her. But I just picked up my new polls. I'll share all of them real quick. Guys, Martian Manhunter #3. Joe, you said you would start a new series. You have not yet, but this one.
Well, I did. I started Daredevil, Cold Night and Hell.
You did? Gosh, I needed you one. Absolute Wonder Woman #8. Very cool cover. G.I. Joe #7. Green Lantern number 23. This is a very cool cover with the Spectre. Awesome. Void Rivals, Joe, you surprised? Number 19. And Ultimate Spider-Man number 17. All right, that's for my pull this week. So that's all my fresh gets I have right there. Caleb, you definitely need to start that Martian Manhunter series. No doubt about that. Moving on, everybody. We got Raising Comics coming right after Nori Jordan. Here we go. Howdy, comic fam. I present the case for the Honorable Judge Dan De La Torre. Is he here? Hold on. There he is. Just letting him know he's here. Here we go. Does it count as fresh if I forgot that I had a book in the PC and it came across this weekend? LMAO. That means laughing my ass off. Exhibit A. I did purchase some new BCW magazine boards, bags and boards this week for my Witcher comics I shared with the Canon family a few weeks back. Exhibit B. I had honestly forgotten I still had this Punisher magazine in the PC because I recently traded a ton of books for some other new editions. Exhibit C. Josh's comics, our very own Josh, has an unwarranted dislike towards the Thunderbolts. That's right. That last bit of evidence might get thrown out, but it had to be presented to the court. Exhibit D. The Punisher is one of my favorite characters, and he himself likes mags. I get that. I will let the jury deliberate. Much love, comic fam. Now, we have our judge on retainer. I'm going to bring him in real quick, as well as Josh's comics, as he has been brought into this discussion. Your Honor, does this count as a fresh get with the evidence presented to you?
Yes, I think Raising Elm presents a very solid case. I rule in his favor.
Thank you very much. Again, don't take too much off of that retainer. And Josh, do you have anything that you want to say about that?
It's in the.
Oh, it happened again. It must be his mic triggering him getting kicked off.
Yeah, I think so.
You got to get a new mic, Josh. All right, moving on. Oh, sorry, Mike, your next fresh get of the week. What do you got?
Again, this is topical. It's flea market season. People who watch my channel know I love my flea markets. There's tons up here in New England, and I went to the biggest one of all, Brimfield, and we talked about him earlier. I found a first Kilowog there.
Nice.
It's a bundle. I don't know what I got it for, $10, $15, somewhere in there. But for a flea market and for a white cover, this thing is minty. There's like no discoloration. Corners are sharp. So, yeah, you don't find them this nice at flea markets. I got really lucky. So, yeah, hopefully we'll see Kilowog. I know Michael Clark Duncan voiced him back in the horrible movie, but maybe we'll get him again. And we get the whole Green Lantern Corps right there. So
we can only hope. I love that book, too, by the way. I love that
horrible movie.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I wanted to like it so much, and I just could not do it. Joshua, I need to apologize to you. This has not been fair treatment. I'm going to keep you on. Moving on, we have Josh's comics, actually. No joke. And I love this submission right here. Granted, he's not eligible. But Wonder Woman #1, facsimile, reprint of Wonder Woman #1, the origin of Wonder Woman. The best thing about facsimiles is you get to read the original stories that you would never be able to afford. Wonder Woman is one of the most important characters in comics history. I couldn't pass up this chance to read her origin story, and is a nice placeholder till I can perhaps own the real one one day. Fun fact, I was almost Steve Trevor.
Cast.
Huh?
I meant to say cast.
Oh, I was almost because it says I was almost Steve Trevor, her lover in the movies. But it was a fun fact. I was almost cast as Steve Trevor, her lover in the movies. I sent my audition tape in, and I never heard back. But I'm sure I was close to being cast. Enjoy this beautiful fresh from the comic shop. We did. You should have been cast, in my opinion. Joseph, your second fresh get of the week.
Yeah, we spoke a little bit about Denny O'Neil earlier. This was a pickup from. Where did I get this? I got this somewhere. I don't even remember, but I don't even think I noticed it was signed. I think it was just so cheap that I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick this up. This is the Shadow #1, and right at the top there, signed by Denny O'Neil. Pretty cool.
Oh, look at that! You did give that tease at the top of the show.
Yep,
that's sweet.
That is awesome, man. Is it also signed down below the comics code, or is that just the artist?
No, that's the Mike Kaluta. Mike Kaluta did the cover art on this.
Okay.
That's his signature on the cover.
Just
But
making sure. Oh, whoa. Hello.
Whoa.
I don't know what happened there. Josh's fault. Maybe it was your mic too. Big Dan has a question for you, Joshua. Last time we saw you, I think you were in a tank top. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. There you go, Dan. Hopefully that makes your evening. The most important thing. Mike, your last fresh get of the week. What do you got?
All right, Joe knows what's coming. So I got to go to the 3-man in a basement comic swap. You know, I put some money aside to go down to Heroes Con. But when you see a deal, guys, you got to get it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big one.
So I got I've won. I already have another one behind me there, but I wanted a higher grade and I wanted a raw copy. This one was listed as a 7.0. I had Joe look at it. I had, Bronzeville Comics look at it. Very Gary. Everyone is pretty much right on that. Had my cleaner press look at it, right on that. So yeah, I got this for a really great deal. Yeah, pretty excited to have another one of these in my collection. It's really sharp, a lot of gloss on it. It's my favorite book of all time. Nightcrawler is my favorite character. I love the X-Men. I love it. So yeah, and I had 2 of these side by side. I might have cheated on my wife when I was holding them. She caught me in the bedroom, maybe. No, I'm really excited to have this, and I probably have to move the other one now. But there it is. That's my big one.
All I can say about that is the rich get richer. Joseph, your second fresh get or your third fresh get of the week. What do you got?
Yeah, so this was an upgrade to the PC. I already had a copy of this.
Look, you guys with upgrades of really expensive comic books. It doesn't make me jealous in the least.
This one's
Go ahead.
not nearly as expensive, but this is. I had this book, but the copy that I had extra staples in it, and I tend to shy away from that. Even with Golden Age books, I like to have it as original as possible, even if that means lower grade. Because the one that I had actually looks nicer, but with the extra staples, it's. For me, I'd rather have a slightly lower grade one. But this is Vault of Horror issue number 28.
Damn,
I got this from Pope of Chilitown. He actually got it in a collection that he got recently. The only EC book that was in the collection. It was just kind of randomly there. But pre-code horror. We've got this woman in white, all tied up, bondage cover. I think she's supposed to be like a witch. But her face is also like decaying. I don't know. Some craziness here.
Dude, that is a very cool cover.
Oh yeah.
It's so good.
Incredible. Like I'm looking at it on the broadcast through YouTube, which is lags a few seconds behind. I love that cover, man. That is one of my favorites of yours, to be honest.
Yeah.
The acronym, to be honest, when you want to check somebody.
Not to interrupt. What was wrong with that? What's wrong with the book?
What's wrong with it?
Oh, I thought you said it had another staple or something.
No, the copy that I originally had another staple.
Oh, that's
so
amazing.
When Pope got this in a collection, I was like, oh yeah, I'll pick it up from you. It'll be an upgrade to me. Yeah. To me, that's an upgrade. Even though the other copy might actually grade out higher, those other staples
looks amazing.
I don't like that. Yeah, this was pretty nice. It's me and Mike think it's probably like a 4.5.
I love that cover. Yeah, you bring in some really original pieces that I'm not familiar with. That's one of my favorite for sure. All right. So that right there, we have ended our Fresh from the Comic Shop segment in terms of submissions. Again, we need to be fair about all of this. So we're going to have to figure out something during the week. I apologize again for not getting into the voting, which we'll get into the voting this week for the last semifinals and the finals for May. But with that said, what books stick? And Joe, I'm not sure how we want to proceed, but we definitely need to ask Mike what books stuck out for him. So Mike, what do you got?
That's tough. I mean, there's definitely one. Again, if I have to wait for other submissions, I feel bad tipping my hat here. This might get beat, but definitely I'm a collector of foreign comics. I love the Italian ones, and I really like the L'Uomo Ragno is how you pronounce it, Jeff, by the way. I know you guys don't have culture down in Philly, but no, I love these. I love these Italian covers, especially the Spider-Man books. And this one spoke to me. That might be winning right now. But again, I'll go back over them. I want to be impartial here, and I'll go back and read through all of them.
And to be fair, I do believe Mark Leneker is one of the semifinalists. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. Again, we'll try and get through these votings as soon as possible. And if Mark doesn't move on to the finals, then this book, I think it's fair to say, will move on to the semifinals in June, the first semifinals in June. So that's that's got an asterisk on there, like Barry Bonds' home run record, right?
Yep. And the other one that jumped out to me, I did like the Punisher one because Punisher always brings us to the gun show, but Josh just gave us the bigger gun show when he showed the tank up there. So this wasn't the lead till Josh showed the pipes. So
yeah, Josh, again, we appreciate you showing some skin. Big Dan definitely does too. I think you guys have something going on, something special, and we definitely support that. But with that said, okay. Is there anything else that sticks out before we move on, Mike?
I mean, they were all fantastic submissions, and I love the stories attached to all of them. The Thunderbolts, I know he's Jordan. I got to give some credit to he's not from Massachusetts. He's from Vermont, the nice people in New England. And that's just a great story. I love these stories when people just love a book to death and they just stockpile it. I mean, this is just something special. And you're looking for that personal touch with, what people are shouting out here and showing off. This is, I don't know if this one could be beat in that department. That is pretty fantastic. So.
I mean, he's obsessed with Thunderbolts, and he was right. Nori Jordan was right about the film. So that's a fair shake.
How?
Okay. So with that said, that ends Fresh from the Comic Shop. A little bit undetermined, undecided, but we will that'll be a priority this week for us. My fault. Again, I apologize profusely. I don't like lagging around. I want this to be as fair, or we all want this to be as fair as possible. Mike, we appreciate you again. Judging under these circumstances. Oh, snap. Hold on. Speaking of judging, where's the judge?
Yeah.
The judge. So
I was about to say that.
I apologize. I am so sorry. I'm just rushing through this thing. But you understand the situation, correct, Judge?
I think so.
Okay, so I have not gotten around to the voting for May because life has been lifing. With that said, Mark Lineker is pending. He is in the semifinals in May. If he does not win that semifinals, he moves on. Actually, if he doesn't win the finals, it'd be fair for him to move on.
Sure.
To the next this first semifinals in June.
Okay.
So that's where we are right now. And then as a backup,
let me pause. So Mark Lineker is he does qualify this week. Then is what you're saying.
It's pending the voting from May because he is in the semifinals in May. Let's say he makes it through the semifinals and makes it to the finals. If he loses the finals, then he will move on to the semifinals in June with this submission right here. That's only fair.
Okay.
And as a backup, let's say he wins the whole thing in May. As a backup, we have Raising Elm to be in the first semifinals.
Okay. Okay. A little complicated, but I think it'll work.
So what is your ruling, Judge?
That works. Click.
The way you just described it works for me. I agree with Joe. So let's just leave it there. And if that's how you want to lay it out, it all fits together. So let's just leave it as it is.
So are you going to hit your gavel? It's getting awkward now.
Well, it became complicated, but again, we'll just leave it as it is. As you lay it out here, it works for me. There's a couple iffy spots for me, but I'm just going to go ahead and edit as it is. Case dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Joe, I thought we got like one of the best lawyers in the country.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We have another.
Will you give me these half line? This might happen, that might happen scenario. Makes a little judge to rule from the.
It gets a little complicated and things go to shit on the show. I'll tell you that right now. Look, speaking of the show, this was a great one, Mike. We truly appreciate you coming. That's no bullshit. And I will say, I say this all the time, and this is no bullshit either. Time is our most precious commodity. And we definitely appreciate you spending it with us, talking one of our favorite things, comics and Philadelphia sports.
Of course. No, thanks for having me, guys. I really do appreciate it. Love coming on. You guys, this show is second to none in terms of production value and humor. So I'll come on anytime you guys ask. Just be prepared. I don't have any Flyers jerseys yet. I'll work my way up to it, though.
Mike, hold on. Before you continue, did they pressure you to change your Boston Red Sox hat?
Subliminally, yes. Yeah, we had to see they were bullying me quite a bit.
Yeah. But it was a little guilt look on his face.
It was offset by one of the best sports logos of all time, the Hartford Whalers. So
it really
completely offset by that. Like that thing is. Oh, I love that. Like, it's hard.
This is actually a vintage one. This is from like the early '90s. I found it in a thrift shop. I was like,
a thrift shop? Get out of here. It's one of those things. Like, it's hard for me to wear any pro sports teams, but that's other than Philly, but that's the closest thing. I may get a hat because they still sell those hats.
It's the only one I will do outside of Boston. It's I got to do the Hartford Whalers.
It's so good. But anyways, all right, enough of that. So, Joshua, you have every reason to be angry at us. So please, now's your time to talk smack or spread the love.
Well, I put in a comment in the chat earlier that I'm officially quitting comic book canon tonight. You can email me at joshscomics.net.gov.org and book me for future appearances on your show to talk news and rumors. Other than that, I just want to say great show tonight. Love having Mike on. Go follow him on Instagram, but also subscribe to him on YouTube. He has a phenomenal channel. I love your videos. I love watching you, even if it's not comic related, just walking through the antique places and finding stuff. It's always fun and entertaining. Follow all of my ex co-hosts as well, although I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the like button and subscribe to Comic Book Canon as well. And just keep on tuning in. A lot of news is coming in the next couple of months, so
yeah,
hopefully we'll keep you guys entertained.
And again, it's super easy to follow Mike in the description down below. It's literally a link right there with the name Lunch Money Comics. Your Honor, how was any parting words for tonight's show?
Mike, good to see you again. I'm so jealous of your collection. The background, I'm just drooling over all the stuff you got here. Congratulations on your second Giant Size X-Men one, a book that has eluded me. I probably won't get it. I made other decisions, but we'll come back to the show. Guys, love being on here. Next week, we hopefully will have a new segment with, we've got Naomi for some modern comics, and we may talk about some Silver and Bronze Age comics, but tune in for that next week.
It may be a specifically judge-centric segment. That's a little tease right there. Joseph.
Hey, what's up?
Good evening. All right, I'll say, look, again, we love doing this show each and every week. We love you all. This community is amazing. It's only growing. We're only doing more fun things, and it's going to continue to get better and more fun, and we'll all get closer in the process of it. No bullshit. Joshua, we kick you off because we love you. It's like the kids in the sandbox. They only make fun of the kids that they love, and that's the truth. I just want to lay that out there right now. I'm being like sentimental tonight. Like I'm apologizing for things and professing my love for Joshua. So I'm going to end it right there. But again, we truly appreciate you all. Joe, if you don't have any other words, I'm going to end this thing right now.
Amen.
Amen. Until next week, people, be good to yourself and please be good to others. Peace.